right, what is some of my favorite grab-and-go items being a diesel tech? You need to get you a good socket rail where your sockets will stay on real good. Get you a metric set, get your standard set. This is my metric that goes from a 7 to a 19. Get you an SAE set that goes from like 3/8 or 7/16 up to like 7/8 or 1 inch. And because you don't want to crawl up underneath the truck or trailer, get up in a tight spot, and oh, that's a 1/2 inch, not a 7/16, and now you got to crawl back out. Get you a good rail where you can take the whole thing with you. Here's another thing that I absolutely love. Get you one of these little mini ratchet socket bit sets. I have a couple different kinds. I got a Cornwell set at home. This is my Sunex set, which actually is who makes the Cornwell one, but get you one of them. These are awesome for interior work in tight places. I use this way more than you would think. Being a semi-mechanic, let's see, what are some real go-tos that you might need? You're not going to use these as much as you will smaller diesels, these flare nut sockets, but they're still helpful to have. Good wrenches and sockets are no given, so we're going to skip that. Get you a good pair of Knipex pliers. I don't care who you are. These are the best pliers you can get. That's a 12-inch pair. That's my favorite pair. The 8-inch pair is pretty good too. This little tiny baby pair, I love that pair. And I also have the 22-inch pair. Now another tool to get you one of these rethread kits. Now this isn't a create new threads kit. This is a thread corrector, a thread cleaner, a thread repair. I got this from Snap-on and I only think I spent like $100 on it. I got it on sale one week. Other brands make this. It is rebranded like crazy. You do not have to get to Snap-on. That's something definitely to have as a diesel mechanic as well. Get you good hammers. Get you some big hammers too. This is a 6-pound Cornwell hammer. Blue Point makes the same one. So does a lot of other brands. I also got the big 12-pounder too, and my duckbill tire hammer. Good ratchets are also no given. Make sure you definitely got you a really big 1/2 inch though. You're going to use that a lot. Also, if you work on a lot of hydraulic stuff, check out these service line wrenches from Harbor Freight. They're really cheap, they're thin, they're short, and they work great on hydraulics. If you've made it this far in the video already and you ain't following me, hit that follow button, man. And then you can also get the big jumbo wrenches that are at Harbor Freight too. Therefore, when you have to use 1 5/8 inch, for example, and you got to cut it or bend it or mod it to get a job done, you're not going to cry because it's a cheap wrench. So get you some cheap big wrenches as well. Get you a power probe. Learn how to correctly use the power probe. There's a lot of people out there that say don't trust power probe, don't use power probe. I don't care. If you know how to correctly use it, you're using it for the right reasons. Power probes are awesome to have, especially checking trailer lights on trailers all the time. Now I use this obviously for much more than that because I know how to use it. I've had one for years. But learn how to correctly use a power probe, get a power probe. Electrical, like simple electrical things will become much easier. And as a heavy-duty equipment and semi-mechanic, when you retire a bunch of cheap Harbor Freight wrenches, or whatever brand your cheap ones are, get a junk drawer, rather it be at home or at work, and throw them all in there. So when you got to heat some up to bend it, you can. I use this for taking nuts off PTOs. This was for getting some bolt off of a turbo on a Cat. So save all your junk stuff too. You also need to make one of these. Thank me later. Also go ahead and get yourself a good pair of these cutters. Not only are they good for rubber hose, but cutting nylon airline on big trucks. These work great for that because you can cut them straight without chewing the end up. And y'all can call me crazy for this one, but these things for adjusting the square drive on auto slack adjusters, absolutely hate this thing. I haven't used that thing in years, but I don't want to get rid of it because it wasn't cheap. Here's what I do. I get a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 8.5/16 socket. It's an 8-point. And it is the exact same thing. The only thing where this might be worse compared to that tool is the depth of the socket, and the ratchet head is a little bit deeper. So if you have a really weird slack adjuster that's on a real odd angle and it's super close to the axle, you might not be able to get this in there. But this works on 9 out of the 10 slack adjusters that I need it to work on. So if I got to pull that one only out once in a while, I'm using this. Now you're probably asking why. It's the same thing. That thing, once it gets packed full of grease and you don't constantly clean it, it likes to slip and you bust your knuckles. Also, I can't tell you how many times it wasn't packed full of grease and it's clean and taken care of, and it'll still slip and you bust your knuckles. This guy doesn't slip, and if it does, something's wrong.